Police are asking for the public to help in the search for 3 wanted men: Otis Miles of Georgetown, Mitchum Wood of Bodentown, and Kurt Ebanks of Bodentown. They say the 3 men have breached the terms of their conditional release from Her Majesty's Prison Northward and must now be returned to continue their custodial sentences. They're looking for Otis Melbourne Miles, 34 years old, described as having dark brown complexion, brown eyes, and low-cut black hair with facial hair. He is slim and about 6 feet tall. Mitchum Kenjo Wood, age 32, is described as having long black hair, a light brown complexion, and brown eyes. He is slim and about 6 feet tall. Kurt Fabian Ebanks, at the age of 44, is described as having light brown complexion, brown eyes, and a bald head with long facial hair. He is of medium build and about 5'11". Photos of all 3 have been posted at rcips.ky. Police are encouraging anyone with information about the whereabouts of the men to call the Georgetown Police Station. The number is 949-4222. They're also calling on the 3 men to turn themselves in to the Cayman Islands Detention Center or the nearest active police station at any time, day or night. Anonymous tips can be provided directly to police on their confidential tip line at 949-7777 or at rcips.ky. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reports 339 COVID-19 tests carried out since our last report on Thursday. 3 were positive for COVID-19. The individuals are all asymptomatic travelers who tested positive following routine screening and will remain in isolation until considered recovered. The total number of people in isolation right now is 993. An additional 780 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine were administered on Thursday, including 89 in Cayman Brac. Of the 780 doses, 289 represent an individual's second dose of the vaccine. The total number of doses administered in the Cayman Islands now, 78,853, 610 of those in the sister islands. A multi-agency team led by the Department of Health Regulatory Services has reached out to local registered healthcare facilities concerning the issue of medical waste found on beaches in Grand Cayman. The investigation was requested by the Ministry of Health, Environment, Culture, and Housing. Registered healthcare facilities are being asked to support the information gathering process that will help determine whether there is a local or international source of the waste. The investigation is currently underway and will include the sister islands. An independent body monitoring the prison system in the Cayman Islands has issued its first report. Radio Cayman's Dion Anglin has the details.
Established in 2019, the Cayman Islands Independent Monitoring Board, CIIMB, consists of community volunteers who have been appointed by the governor to monitor the conditions and treatment of persons sentenced to imprisonment or otherwise detained in the Cayman Islands. CIIMB members conduct monitoring visits throughout the year and are available to discuss their observations and any concerns on an ongoing basis with the prison management. However, because the board reports to the deputy governor, it is independent of the department and ministry responsible for the prison service. Through its annual report, the board is able to share the outcomes of its monitoring visits for the year. As part of their monitoring visits, board members also handle applications from prisoners and detainees. Additionally, Cayman Islands Independent Monitoring Board members make themselves available to listen to issues, make further inquiries, and provide responses. Prisoners or detainees are able to submit confidential applications to the board, or they can speak to members when they are visiting. CIIMB members made 369 visits from February through December 2019 to Her Majesty Prison Northwood, Her Majesty Prison Fairbanks, and the Enhanced Rehabilitation Unit. 79 applications for support from prisoners were received and dealt with. 11 board meetings were held in 2019, and a number of improvements were noted over the monitoring period, including additional personnel, improved overall appearance of Northwood, additional vocational training, and much-needed repairs. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Dion Anglin.
The 2019 annual report of the Cayman Islands Independent Monitoring Board is now available at the odg.gov.ky website. The current membership of the team, Mr. Herbert Crawford, Chair, Mrs. Dorothy Davis, Deputy Chair, and members Ms. Yvette Burnell-Harris, Ms. Olga Gorzong, Ms. Cheryl Miles, Ms. Dahlia Miller, and Ms. Lorna Lumsden. If you're interested in volunteering to become a member of the CIIMB, send your resume to ciimb@gov.ky to request an application form. We see a small bump in gas prices this week. Radio Cayman's Carsley Fuller has more.
According to the Overall Retail Network weekly analysis done by the Utility and Competition Regulation Office, self-service regular gasoline across Grand Cayman is $3.90 a gallon, which is up 1 cent since the last check on January 23rd. Premium self-service gasoline is logging in at $4.28 a gallon, while diesel is averaging $3.89. Both prices are popping up 1 cent. For a quick comparison, 6 months ago, gas prices in Grand Cayman were $3.87 for regular, $4.29 for premium, and $3.94 for diesel. For Grand Cayman, the average price for regular gas is $4.10 a gallon. The cheapest is reportedly being sold at Mike's 7 Mile, where Offreg says it's $3.77 a self-service gallon. The average price for regular gas in Cayman Brac is $4.24. Folks on Little Cayman are still paying $4.94 a gallon. On the diesel side of things, the average price is now $3.87 on Grand Cayman. Offreg says the cheapest is being sold at Refuel for $3.32. The average price of gasoline in Florida is $2.38 for regular and $3.02 US for premium, according to AAA. Log on to offreg.ky for a full breakdown. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Karsley Fuller.
The Cayman Islands Mangrove Rangers launched their first camp. Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Solins has more.
I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. That is basically my philosophy of teaching sciences.
For Martin Keeley, Education Director of the Mangrove Action Project, this Confucius quote reinforces his belief that putting education into practice, like with their Mangrove Discovery Camp, is the most effective way to teach students.
What we're doing with the camp is introducing young people to mangrove ecology, and it's done through a series of hands-on activities. It's based on the Marvelous Mangroves program that's been in Cayman schools for over 20 years now. Explore the ecosystem, its functions, and its related flora and fauna. And it includes human impacts as well. And so we have a day and a half of lessons, and then we will be taking them to a kayak trip into the central mangroves.
The 2-day camp is on January 30th and 31st in celebration of World Wetlands Day, which falls on February 2nd.
Field trips and this kind of exploration are a way to get the students to understand the science behind mangroves and mangrove ecosystems. And it also ties in with the new science curriculum and social studies curriculum for years 5 and 6, a curriculum that was introduced in the fall of 2019. But didn't get much exposure, again, because of COVID shutdown. So it gives them a chance to explore the reality of the real world, of how vital mangroves are to Cayman.
The camp is from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the International College of the Cayman Islands. Kayaks will be launched at the Newlands Barcadier at the foot of Leeward Drive in Newlands. For Radio Cayman News, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
You can find out more by calling 923-9000 or WhatsApp 526-5072. Admission is free. Donations are welcome. The Central Caribbean Marine Institute is offering scholarships to Cayman's budding biologists for their marine ecology camps.
In February, our scholarships are made possible through the Edmund F. and Virginia B. Ball Foundation, as well as a couple of local donors who want to support students going to Little Cayman and having this experience. There's 6 available for that session of camp. And then the session in April, which is around the Easter break, is through the R3 Cayman Foundation, where they want to support students in having the opportunity to experience this type of hands-on educational program.
Project manager Robin Larkin says all of the scholarships cover camp fees and the flights to and from Little Cayman.
And they're available for students who are ages 13 to 17. And really, it's a good introduction into tropical reef ecology and biology. Students will join us in Little Cayman for a week and participate in a variety of activities that will engage them and teach them some basic biological concepts, get them involved with some of our basic research efforts and understanding what type of work we do at CCMI and just, in essence, have a really, really fun time.
You can find out more information at reefresearch.org or email info@reefresearch.org. The Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports, Agriculture, and Lands names Cayman Islands Legal Practitioners Association Assistant Student Rep Jolynn Scott as a Proud of Them honoree for her achievements in academics.
I am elated, I'm ecstatic, I'm humbled, definitely. Not only do I feel a sense of pride, but I also feel a sense of motivation and encouragement to keep going despite whatever may come. Significant challenges, I would say, is just a lot of peer pressure. Obstacles that I encountered were definitely some sicknesses, but one thing that I kept with me, God at the forefront, all things are possible, and despite those challenges, whatever decisions that I make, it must somehow impact the successes in the future.
To celebrate the accomplishments of the Round 12 Proud of Them honorees, the ministry, in partnership with the Youth Services Unit, has erected 14 billboards across Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac featuring the likeness of the honorees. To view Jolynn's profile in full, check out the Cayman Islands Youth Services YouTube channel. That is your latest local news from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.